Hello, good people of YouTube. Today I have quite the replay from you from Jam here. Jam has been featured on the channel before. By the way, in the last video that I featured Jam where I commentated over his gameplay, people thought I was suddenly saying Jim and not Jam, and it was more than just a few, so I'm not really sure if it was just trolls or whatever, but, you know, because of my accent and I'm a little stuffy today, I may sound like I'm saying Jim, but I'm really saying Jam, and honestly, I may slip up either way. But anyway, I'm referring to Jam in this replay, no matter what. So while I'm hurrying up and taking the screenshot here, I just want to ask you guys a question. Do you guys want to see more of these type of commentary replays where I go through an entire replay, commentate on the gameplay and what's happening? Or do you guys like to see the more edited, meme type videos? Those videos work well because I do get a lot of replays. Even being a channel of this size, not being a larger World of Warships channel, my inbox is like full of, I think, like 500 replays or something right now, and I have plenty of clips of good games, but games that may not be entertaining to watch for 20 minutes straight while I commentate on it. But some do come along, and well, more than some, quite a few do come along, like Jams here, where it's a really interesting game all the way through. But do you guys still want to see the more meme type of videos, or do you guys want to see more of these commentating replay style of videos? Let me know in the comments down below. But anyway, Jam is here in the Tier 8 Premium Massachusetts as he rams the Tier 7 Premium Nelson there. The American battleship. Now the Massachusetts is one of my favorite ships in the game, and one of the ships in the game that I can talk about at length. Now, Jam has not included his captain build in the email, so I don't know exactly what build he's running here, but I do suspect he does have BFT and AFT, at least, with Adrenaline Rush. Those are the only skills I know for sure that he has. Everything else, I'm not sure. I know he does not have Superintendent because he only has 4 heals and 4 spotter planes. That's right. He's running Spotter Plane Massachusetts, an interesting choice. I myself usually run Fighter Massachusetts because the Massachusetts doesn't have that best dispersion ever in the world, and I don't normally try to snipe with a ship, although with its dispersion being, its Sigma's pretty low, so the dispersion's not that great, but it's not that great consistently. And once you play Massachusetts for a couple hundred games like I have, you get a pretty good feel for its dispersion. You know what it's going to do, because it does have lower Sigma, but it still has American dispersion, so it's constantly iffy, if you will. So you get used to it and you know what it's going to do. It's not that terrible to play with. But Massachusetts is an amazing premium. I think that's pretty much universally accepted amongst the community. It has a very fast cooldown on its heal and its damage con. It has great secondaries, even, I wouldn't say by German standards, but you can get the range out to 11.3 kilometers, and they are amazingly accurate. Now, Jam does not have manual secondaries, you will see that later, but his secondaries are still pretty accurate. And when you do have manual secondaries equipped on the Massachusetts, it's almost like lasers. And they don't really do their damage through pins, they do their damage, at least to cruisers and battleships, through fires. They have a pretty decent fire chance. Once you get a full secondary build in Massachusetts, you're going to be spearing quite a few secondary rounds down range. So you have a pretty good chance of starting more than a couple of fires, and they still do have enough pin to deal with most destroyers that the Massachusetts will see. So all around, a very fun ship. Oh, and it does have very good AA as well. It has almost the same AA suite as the Alabama. It literally has 4 less guns than the Alabama. Speaking of the Alabama, it does have a similar torpedo damage reduction. I believe it has 48% torpedo damage reduction, while the Alabama has 54% torpedo damage reduction. So it's a pretty similar ship in some aspects to the Alabama, but also pretty different. Anyway, what's going on in the game? So in the match right now, this is a Tier 8 match. Jam is top tier. And you can see that right now his team has the C cap, but the enemy team did get the A cap first. And the B cap, there's a Kagro that looks like he's trying to either back into the cap, or I'm not really sure what he's doing right now. Anyway, they're within the enemy Skana, and the friendly DD, I didn't catch which one it was, but the friendly team is down 1 destroyer. And as you can see, you've got a Fubuki, a Massachusetts, and a King George V, who have all gone up the no BB line there on the 9-10 line on the north map, which isn't really ideal. You maybe would want to send maybe a cruiser or a destroyer up the 9-10 line to get some flanking torpedo shots, depending upon what cruiser it is or what destroyer it is. But you generally don't want to send slow ships like battleships, because the second a battleship starts going up the 9-10 line on this map, they're going to be out of the game for 4 or 5 minutes, because it takes a while to circumnavigate that flank, and that's if there's no ships there. If there's ships there, obviously you're going to have to fight your way through it. But the enemy team has their Massachusetts and King George going up the 9-10 line, and the Fubuki, the tier 6 Japanese destroyer, who, to his credit, he did get up north and is trying to get some flanking shots on the enemy team. But this is a carrier game, and there is a friendly Enterprise on Jam's team, so that's not exactly a carrier you want to be playing against in a tier 6 Japanese destroyer, because Enterprise, man, it's if there was a broken ship in the game, it's Enterprise, no questions asked. And look at this right here. This really gave me an interesting look at the Nelson versus the Massachusetts. Look how high the Nelson's up out of the water. That's why that thing's so easy to Citadel. But yeah, you don't want to be sailing alone when there's an Enterprise in the match. Its rocket planes are, oh my god, you can get 10, 12, 14k salvos off on it in one strike. It's terrifying. So since the enemy team decided to stick themselves on this side of the map, Jam's not going to let it go to waste. And he takes a shot at the Fubuki all the way out there. And that's good. Targeting the DDs down is something you definitely want to be doing in game, in randoms, and in ranked, and in clan wars. He does only get 1 overpin on it, but hey, you know, it's damage to the destroyer. He's not going to be able to heal that damage, and that destroyer is that much closer to getting out of the game. As you can see, secondaries are now going off on the enemy Massachusetts, and that Massachusetts has been beat up pretty bad already. He's already down to 20,000 health. Jam's still up there at 47,000 health. Then he turns broadside on to Jam. But RNG says no, and Jam does not get the Citadel. I was very surprised he didn't get the Citadel on that shot. Lets the rear turrets go. Doesn't get the Citadel, but does secure the kill. That's good. Got the Massachusetts guns out of the match. Now, I'm not sure why the Massachusetts was turning. I don't think the friendly scanners torpedoes were spotted, but might have just been intuition. The Skona could have been spotted. I think actually the Skona was spotted. Maybe the King George spotted the torpedoes as well. Now, the enemy King George here is doing what he should be doing in this situation. He's bowing to Jam. That way, because the King George, whoo, boy, after they reworked the British battleship line, boy, King George is not very tanky anymore. He's bowing to Jam. That way, Jam can't get any big pins on him. And as you can see right here, what I was talking about with the American secondary guns, they don't pin a lot, but boy, they can start a fair few fires. Jam pins the superstructure of the King George for almost 10,000 damage. There's the Fubuki's torpedoes. Almost got jammed, didn't give him enough lead. Now the King George here, I believe he's trying to get his rear gun on target. You never want to do that in this situation, especially when you're in something squishy like the King George. Just settle for your front 2 guns. And looks like he maybe rethought his position and started to go again bow into Jam, and Jam only gets 1 overpin for 1300 damage. Friendly Fusion's trying to hunt down the Fubuki. The Enterprise has given up on the Fubuki, so he's trying to torpedo the ships on the western flank. Sit rep for the friendly team. Western flank, it looks like it's crumbling pretty hard. Eastern flank looks like it's pretty good. Now, they maybe do have more ships than what's necessary over here to deal with this King George and this Fubuki, but it is what it is. King George manages to dodge again the Skona's torpedoes, except for he does eat 1 there, but is a pan-European DD's torpedoes, so it barely does any damage. Jam gets his front 2 turrets off on the King George, and his rear turret off on the King George. King George, again, still doing basically what he can do in this situation and just staying bowing and trying to stay alive for as long as possible and distract Jam's team. Now, Jam seems to be bored over here and is now leaving, and there goes his other bank of secondaries, and again, as you can see, he does not have manual secondaries, but even without manual secondaries, the secondaries are still pretty accurate on the Massachusetts. I would recommend using manual secondaries because, my god, they are amazingly accurate when you do use them. So now he's got enemy Kiev, enemy North Carolina, pushing from B to C, and that Nelson's giving that enemy North Carolina a bit of a broadside show right now. Kiev gets taken out by the Nelson. North Carolina fires at the Nelson, and I suspect the Nelson probably just lost a lot of health. One, it can't battle tank 16-inch guns, and two, again, you guys saw how high it sits about the water. It is not a hard ship to Citadel. So Nelson was at about a third health right there. Then, ooh, he eats about a week's worth of torpedoes right there. That didn't help. North Carolina goes around the side of the island. North Carolina ship again with a very large citadel. The Montana and the Iowa got their citadels lowered, but the North Carolina did not, so it is still a very easy ship to citadel. Enemy Sharnors took out the friendly Bayern over there on the west flank, I believe. And there's the Fubuki again, way out there, almost at the max range of GM's secondaries, but the friendly Fusion finishes him off. North Carolina's coming out broadside onto a Massachusetts and turning too, but RNG says no and denies Jam the Citadel on the North Carolina. I thought for sure he was going to delete that North Carolina the very first time I watched this replay. Nelson gets his AP off, but does not delete North Carolina, but the North Carolina deletes the Nelson. Poor Nelson. Jam does a quick little bait chat in chat. Gets his front two turrets around to see the North Carolina. No citadels again! And only 9,000 damage. I don't know what Jam did to annoy RNGesus before this match. But it must have been pretty bad, because that Nelson should have just ceased to exist right there. That Nelson was very, very lucky, but unfortunately, well, fortunately for Jam, he was not lucky enough to dodge the Skona's torpedoes. Alright, so sit rep. Looks like the west flank has absolutely ceased to exist. The west enemy flank, however, has pushed through. But as far as ships go, still a very close game. The enemy team is up one ship to Jam's team. Both carriers are still alive. They do have two more battleships, but one is a tier 6 New Mexico that was almost dead last time I saw it. Baltimore's pretty low, but the enemy team does have two camps. But friendly team does have two DDs still alive, and enemy team only has the one. So they do have the DD advantage, so they could potentially be sneaky in cap if the Lexington is distracted. Alright, so Baltimore's sending broadside on to the Massachusetts from 13 kilometers away, and ooh, again, RNG says no. Now, American BBAP is actually pretty good at pinning cruisers because it travels so slow, and at the angles, ooh, double fire there from the Lexington. At the angles at which the shells plunge at range, they're normally pretty good for citadeling cruisers, but again, that time RNG said no. So 10 kilometers away, broadside on to Jam's in Massachusetts. Jam gets his front two turrets off and clips him with one shell and secures the kill. So far he's got two kills that have been secured, but he has done 97,000 damage this game. He's definitely pulling his weight this match. So Enterprise looks like he's going after the Scharnhorst up north, which is a pretty good target to go at. German battleships not known for their AA defense or their ability to torpedoes. Well, the Gneisenau used to be kind of Troy with its AA, but not so much anymore. Alright, New Mexico down to 5,000 health. That's one good hit from one shell on GM's Massachusetts, and he is selling broadside on the gem. And oh, there's some actual good dispersion from the Massachusetts for a change. And goodbye, New Mexico. So that's 3 kills now. He's going to take Mexico out of the game. That's going to buy his team some time on points. Lexington seems to have a strange fixation with Jam. Ooh, there is that Moss. Badundi has spotted him as well. I know it's actually not Badundi. I just like calling it that. That's its nickname that I've given it since I started playing this game. Now, the Badundi has, for some reason, loaded AP to deal with a bow on Massachusetts. I'm not sure if bot or a player that's gotten to tier 8 somehow without knowing that HE is a thing. I find that hard to believe in the current meta of the game. But yes, that Badani is spamming AP at a bow on Massachusetts. I know I don't like HE spam, but I mean, come on, bud. Yeah. So Badani is trying. I'm assuming maybe he's trying to pull Jam out, try to kite him out into the open to where the sharks can get at him. But since he's spamming AP, I'm not really sure. I believe he's intentionally trying to do that. Either way, Jam starts to slow down because he does know there's a Sharnors waiting for him. And in friendly Fusion's going up north, also pursuing the Badani. Now, at this moment, what would be at least in my opinion, the right thing to do was to ask the Enterprise to just deal with the Badani with his rocket planes, but Enterprise is currently, well, getting his plane shot down by the Lexington's fighters. Oof. Oh, and the enemy's Scharnhorst just sunk the friendly schooner. So that's happened. Now the enemy team is up 1 ship with 4 ships, and Jam's team is down 1 ship with 3 ships, and the scores are getting further and further apart. So the friendly team needs to sink some ships and cap some caps. And since, well, the rest of the team, well, one's an Enterprise over at the 10 line, Fusion's going after the Badani, Jam has to do this all himself now. And in Massachusetts, and he just used his last hill. So, Jam has work to do, and boy, is Jam going to do work. So he's moving to the B cap right here. The Lexington's coming after him with rocket planes. Luckily, his damage con was running, so no fires could be started during that attack run, and he pulls a tactical beaching there, but I mean, hey, we've all done it. Fusion was going after the Badani, but decided to not. Now, at this point, the Badani's down to 900 health. The Enterprise should be able to finish it off with a single rocket plane, not a rocket plane salvo. A single plane would suffice. I suspect even a single rocket might suffice. So that's all the Enterprise needs to do right now. The Mas has decided to rush Jam in his Massachusetts. He eats almost the entire salvo and then a secondary shell, and that gets Jam a close quarters expert ribbon. The Enterprise decided to torpedo the Scharnhorst. Interesting decision from the Enterprise, considering the Badani is spotted and actually sailing toward the Enterprise, so one might suspect that the Enterprise would perceive that as a threat and want to deal with that. More on that later. Almost broadside Scharnhorst there, eats a lot of pins, well, 4, and gets 13,000 damage, giving Jam the High Caliber and Confederate Award at once. So it's pretty obvious that Scharnhorst is going to go down. Jam's on top of him, the Fusion's firing at him, and the Enterprise has still yet to do anything about that Badani. Okay. So Jam's guns have reloaded. Oh, there's the A defense expert, by the way. Just throw that medal in there, too. Oh, and there's Kraken Unleashed on top of all of that. So Jam now has, well 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 medals. Wow. So, this could be an easy turnaround. All the Enterprise has to do is kill the Badani, and Jam and the Fusion either need to cap or kill the Lexington. Either combination of those things will win them the game. If they can secure the A cap, or at least contest the A cap, they'll win. If they can kill the Badani and the Lexington, they'll win. If they could kill the Badani and cap, they'll win. If they could kill the Lexington and cap, they'll win. All they need is 1 cap and 1 kill, and this game is theirs. So, the Enterprise decided to go after the Badani now. You may notice he has chosen the dive bombers. A strange choice, but the Enterprise dive bombers are rather accurate, and honestly, if he just clips the Badani with one, because the Badani's at 900 health, and the Badani does not have a hill, if he just clips the Badani with a torpedo, or a splash in the general vicinity of the Badani, that will be enough to kill the Badani. Now, the Lexington has decided to, obviously, go after Jam, which is a smart decision on Lexington's part, because Jam is the one that's capping right now, but then decides he's not going to go after Jam and calls off his dive bombers. I'm assuming it's because he's now spotted the Fusion. Okay, there's a call there. And now the Enterprise, you may have noticed he's over the Badani now, and he should be dropping his bombs right about now to kill the Badani. Now, what's that? Oh, he missed. Okay, no need to worry. Enterprise has more dive bombers in the squadron. He just has to do it again and sink them. He'll get them this time. But again, Enterprise, one of the most OP ships in the game. Your mom could play it and do well. Oh, he missed again. With Enterprise. With Enterprise's dive bombers. Okay. Alright then. That happened. I doubt he's out of rocket planes on Enterprise. I mean, Enterprise is basically the factory where they make the Corsairs. So, Yeah, but now he has selected the rocket planes to go and deal with the Badani, and if he misses with those, I have several questions. Now, the Fusion is approaching the Lexington, and Jam is pincering the Lexington from the other side. They've secured the B cap and the C cap. They now have the cap advantage. So if they just kill the Lexington, they'll end the game and win it. But the Lexington is doing a very good job of hugging that island like it's his waifu, and is trying to deal with the Fusion at the same time. There's a Lexington spotted, but you may be hearing a particular sound coming from your headphones or from your phone. Oh, that's right. Time is running out. So, to recap, Jam did 160,000 damage, got 5 medals, one of which was a Kraken, Confederate, high caliber, and I believe he did get Dreadnought as well, so he did get 6 medals in total this game. And all the enemy team needed to, the friendly team needed to do to win was sink the Baduni or the Lexington, and I do believe that would have been a win. The Lexington obviously would have given more points, but I do believe sinking the Baduni would have, if not, put them in the lead after the, well, probably wouldn't put them in the lead, but it would have brought them a lot closer. If they had perhaps killed the Baduni earlier, obviously the Enterprise could have helped with sinking the Lexington, and they would have more than likely won that match. So, yeah, that was honestly one of the more painful things for me to watch. Jam doing that well in his Massachusetts and the Enterprise, honestly, because, I mean, I don't know how else to word this. He fumbled that pretty hard there at the end. Yeah, that did happen. My cats are fighting in the background now. Yammy, leave her alone. Sorry you guys have to hear that. But anyway, yeah, that happened. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe. We're on our way to 15,000 subscribers. And if you have a replay you would like me to feature on the channel, please send it in. I ask that you send in at least your game end screens with your leaderboards. My cats are still fighting. Well, they're not fighting, they're playing, but rather roughly. Send it to the email link in the description down below. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.